Did I ruin everything?
Yes!
Well, we're finally here, so let's talk about Zaheer.
Which just leaves the two of us.
Often considered the best antagonist in The Legend of Korra. Sometimes even in Avatar as a whole. By the most tasteless motherfuckers put on this earth. You can argue he's the best in Korra, since they lowered the bar through the fucking earth with the actual best villain Amon, when they made him a makeup-wearing clown, threw him out the window, blew him up, then neuralized everyone so he and his movement never happened. They just had to make Amon an imposter. But seriously, calling Zaheer the best antagonist in all of Avatar?
Are you kidding?
When Zuko exists? Even if he was a bit conflicted about it, he was an antagonist for most of the series. What about Long Feng? Azula? You out your damn mind if you think Zaheer comes close to any of these people. Azula would fry this fucker in a heartbeat. She knew how to handle them baldies. Did Zaheer get his own noodle art?
Here's one that I made out of noodles.
I didn't think so. Okay, how about some positives?
I don't trust the new positives. You are? Hello? Future me brainwashed you, didn't he?
Actually, no. Korra, not good.
How about that?
Henry Rollins' performance is great, almost humorous, but in a good way. I like the stilted, kind of robotic voice he does, like the dude's been in solitary confinement for a decade and it's taken its toll.
You told me we wouldn't have any problems getting the Avatar.
I don't know if that was the actual motive behind it, but I sure thought it worked. And it's not often I get to see myself represented in media. Here we have an autistic LARPer who's been stuck in a cell for a decade, exclusively murders women, and hates the government.
Literally, me.
I like my ladies a little shorter though, by about a head. And if there's anyone antagonized by Korra, I think I'm dealing with it okay.
Take me!
Well, let's see how literally he matches. Goal. Zaheer gives us two vague overarching goals in this scene. Restoring balance to the world and restoring freedom to the world.
We are part of a secret society dedicated to restoring freedom to the world.
And what is your mission exactly?
To restore balance to this world.
Already, you might be thinking, ain't those kind of in opposition to each other just a little bit?
Working with your natural opposite.
But trust me, that ain't the real problem. It's how he goes about them, and where do I fucking begin? Okay, so originally the Red Lotus's plan was to kidnap Korra as a child and have her open the portals to release Vaatu, plunging the world into 10,000 years of darkness and chaos.
This breaking news update, darkness has fallen and there's still no sign of dawn.
You and my uncle plan to use me to release Vaatu?
Yes.
Why?
Because liberty is chaotic, so chaos is liberating? Yeah, I remember how free the first airbenders were under Vaatu. So free they could transform at will into totally different people.
Harm these people and they've done nothing to leave me in peace.
But ER, didn't you also just say Zaheer's goal was to restore balance? How does chaos balance anything? Oh, straw nerd, you poor naive fool. Don't you know?
The natural order is disorder.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What does that even mean? The natural comfort is discomfort. The natural agreement is disagreement. The natural pacifism is violence.
I've certainly never used it to take a life.
You're a liar!
The natural disorder is order.
This guy's more of a straw man of anarchists than I am of nerds. Hey, don't talk about yourself that way, man. But you got a point. The Oxford Dictionary calls anarchy a state of disorder, but notwithstanding, I don't think most dyed-in-the-wool anarchists believe in, like, absolute chaos, you know? Well, maybe the dyed-in-the-Chaz ones did. Ooh.
We learned about Rava and Vaatu, and how Avatar Wan foolishly severed them.
Avatar Wan wasn't foolish.
Bitch, were we watching the same movie?
The human and spirit realms are headed toward annihilation, and it's all your fault.
Wasn't foolish.
Why is the great spirit of darkness here?
Wasn't foolish.
Different groups of people must learn to live together.
I failed.
Foolish is too kind of a word, really.
Retarded is more accurate.
Like 95% of everything Wan did hurt other people. He went from intentionally murdering his fellow man for trying to bring food back to their people.
That animals are dinner. No.
To severing Rava and Vaatu and unintentionally killing who knows how many. They got all of his old human friends annihilated.
Your human friends have already been annihilated.
No.
Yes.
If you haven't seen them yet, I have a couple videos on this one guy. As you can tell, I'm a big fan.
I think I've had enough of humans for a while.
Clearly, you psychopath.
Avatar Wan wasn't foolish. He was trying to restore balance.
Then why did you undo his life's work and leave it undone after this?
Look out!
He closed the portals, severing humans from spirits. Even you realize the error in his ways.
That was part of the 5% of things Wan did get right. Before Wan, spirits dominated the physical world to the point of driving humanity into preciously small pockets of civilization. Even your precious airbenders who could live among some spirits took refuge on a turtle too, and didn't risk leaving for anything but food. You call that balance? Freedom? Wan separated man and spirit because too many spirits were not only hostile to mankind for simply surviving, but some spirits were just killing and eating people out of animalistic instinct. Wan then had to learn the hard way that not even different people can be conjoined without hostility. Don't you think maybe you should try to fix the human relations problem before you throw aliens into the mix again?
No!
So, inasmuch as tangible goals go thus far, Korra's been pretty darn accommodating to Best Villain. Just as he wanted, she released Vaatu, at least long enough to leave some lasting damage. She agrees Wan was wrong and is forcing human spirit integration again. She's even responsible for giving him airbending and making him mega powerful, something Zaheer could have only dreamed about. Why are they fighting again?
I want what you want, to restore balance to this world.
I don't think our ideas of balance are the same.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Are you sure about that? Since you kept the spirit portals open and everything.
Are you sure about that? You kept the spirit portals open.
Oh shit, he literally is me.
But why stop there?
He's kidding, right?
Bringing the spirits back should only be the beginning.
What do you mean?
The idea of having nations and governments is as foolish as keeping the human and spirit realms separate.
To the untrained ear, that must have all sounded like
some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Me, I was trained in bullshit.
I went to college!
So I'll translate. Zaheer says,
the idea of having communities with commonalities and hierarchies is as foolish as being physically separated from an enormous collective of alien species with divergent wants, needs, levels of sentience, instincts, powers, mortality, morality, and general makeup, and they all come with their own ancient hierarchies and communities, some as ancient as time itself, so everyone should be forced to integrate with them because I love communities with commonalities and hierarchies as long as they're not of my own people.
What?
That was literally not me. That was all just a bunch of
fucking commie gobbledygook.
You've had to deal with a moronic president and a tyrannical queen. Don't you think the world would be better off if leaders like them were eliminated?
No.
I'm very confused right now.
Who are you? What the fuck have you done with Korra?
You gotta deal with it!
I don't really agree with what they've done, but taking out world leaders isn't the answer.
No, really, where is she? Need I remind anyone, Korra's answer in just the last book was eliminating a world leader.
You've served your purpose.
Granted, became the manifestation of darkness, and you know how that goes. You're black? But hell, Korra didn't just eliminate him, she fucking vaporized Unalaq. The writers gloss over that little fact too, that Korra straight up atomized the twins' dad, and they're just okay with it.
I'm sorry about your father.
It seems Korra is under the impression we are saddened by our father's demise.
But I will not miss him at all.
Yeah, okay.
You don't know what you're talking about. Our father is the wisest man in the world. If he says what he is doing is right, I believe him. But I will not miss him at all.
Great writing! They're also allowed to rule the Northern Water Tribe after all the objectively evil stuff they did, because no one on the writing team gives a shit. Oh, and in the first book, Korra helped get a leader of Republic City thrown in jail for corruption, and left the elimination to himself. Korra loves eliminating world leaders, and she's done it countless times as other avatars. Just look at Kyoshi.
Technically, he fell to his own doom because he was too stubborn to get out of the way.
Personally, I don't really see the difference.
Taking out world leaders isn't the answer.
And just her previous life as a plucky pacifist, or a violent self-defender. Whatever you say, buddy.
Get out of here!
His answer was taking out a world leader. Some fella, I forget, it was some megalomaniacal war-waging world leader known as the Fire Lord.
You will learn the Force, and the sacred Jedi texts will be your teacher.
Wrecking world leaders is and always has been a regular Avatar pastime. Let's not pretend otherwise, okay?
You've had to deal with a moronic president and a tyrannical queen. Don't you think the world would be better off?
Yeah, sure, off with the bear killer's head. Fuck the queen. But the hell did Raiko do? He won a democratic election fair and square. He kept his people out of the Water Tribe Civil War, which was the right thing to do, especially as it was a total psyop, and he said no to getting his troops troops slaughtered by Vaatu up north.
I know what you're doing, and I doubt your propaganda is going to change my mind.
It was a good thing Raiko held his troops back at Republic City for when Vaatu arbitrarily decided to attack it, even though neither Vaatu nor Unalaq should have a particular beef with these people. At this point in time, Raiko's only real mistake was not banishing Korra sooner, before she put a giant immovable tree through his office.
There's a tree growing right through my office. You think I'm not doing everything I can to get rid of it?
Raiko did nothing wrong.
Nothing! Taking out world leaders isn't the answer.
The Avatar is
taking out world leaders.
It wasn't too long ago that the airbenders were nearly all wiped out, thanks to the Fire Lord's desire for world dominance.
That was real bad, Zaheer. You got him there. If you ignore the fact that he'll later gladly threaten to genocide the airbenders a second time.
The second Zaheer realizes we're up to something, he'll wipe out the airbenders.
Well, that's some odd behavior from the world's biggest airbender fanboy. That'd be like fangirls trying to wipe out their own... Oh, yeah.
True freedom can only be achieved when oppressive governments are torn down.
But that won't bring balance. It will throw the world into chaos.
Zaheer says oppressive governments are bad, and Korra says, nah, keep them.
Learn to live with it.
This is what Korra fans mean when they say Zaheer had a point.
True freedom can only be achieved when oppressive governments are torn down.
This is the real meat.
Actually, I don't eat meat.
Okay, this is the beyond meat of Zaheer's supposed little ideology. Oppressive, as in unjust and overbearing governments, are bad. Damn, son, he says what we're all thinking. We're all rooting for you, champ. But when Korra incompetently expresses you need to look beyond that meat,
that won't bring balance. It will throw the world into chaos.
That was Zaheer's chance to lay out his alternative. Only his alternative is just this.
Exactly. The natural order is disorder.
I like the chaos.
Well, maybe we missed something.
Possibly. Hey, how about we ask a fedora-wearing anarchist on Reddit? He's got to have some deeper insight us plebs wouldn't recognize.
As an anarchist, I'm reasonably satisfied with Zaheer's ideology. He wants a world of free communities driven by mutual aid. I don't know why so many people missed that.
Oh, well, Ranver Solar Tongue, they might have missed all that because you just made it the fuck up.
I made the whole thing up.
Yeah, Zaheer's all about freedom, far from what you're on about, but he condemns this idea of community several times.
The idea of having nations and governments is as foolish as keeping the human and spirit realms separate. The natural order is disorder.
We will forge a world without borders or nations, where a man's only allegiance is to himself.
Nations, or the concept of a group of people living in the same area united by shared characteristics, very much like a community, that's a big no-no. And mutual aid? You mean organization to help each other? Sounds too orderly to me. Again, Zaheer says the reverse.
Where a man's only allegiance is to himself and those he loves. From now on, you are free. I deliver Ba Sing Se back into the hands of the people.
And we give it back to you, people.
He's quite explicitly talking about a free-for-all here. Not exactly very communal or mutually aiding.
In theaters this summer, Summer of Love.
And it's not just Zaheer's words, it's his actions. He'll go on to knock down the walls in Ba Sing Se, tell the people to do whatever the fuck they want, and leave behind a bunch of flaming wreckage.
Wreckage, brother.
He didn't care about the people one whit. He just wants chaos.
It will throw the world into chaos.
Chaos is the natural order of all.
Satisfied.
Do you know who once said, new growth cannot exist without first the destruction of the old?
No.
Ooh, I know this one. Kylo Ren.
Let the past die. Kill it, if you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be.
Yeah, nailed it.
The wise guru Laghima, an airbender.
Well, if Laghima said it, it must be true. I like how he adds the qualifier, an airbender. Like that adds all the credibility in the world. Do you know who once said, where we're going, you won't need any pants? Avatar Wan, an airbender.
Relax, Sokka. Where we're going, you won't need any pants.
Pants are an illusion.
Being locked away for so many years, I was beginning to lose hope.
Whoops, sorry Zaheer. I gotta revoke your LARP card, buddy. That's not what a real air nomad would say.
The monks used to say that hope is just a distraction.
I was beginning to lose hope.
He's a fraud!
But when I awoke with airbending,
Congratulations, you won.
I knew I would be the one to destroy the old world and plant seeds for a new world to flourish.
A new world, you say? Will I own anything in this new world? Will I be happy?
You'll never have to worry about your worldly possessions again, because you won't have any.
No thanks. These fucking bald-ass globalists, man.
Merkel, Vladimir Putin, and so on. They all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
Alright, ER, enough stalling. He's gonna tell us what his new world entails, right? Is it like a world without governments, or a world better suited to the new airbenders? Does he want to brainwash Korra, Dai Li style? What is it? Well, he doesn't say yet. All we really get so far is disorder and, anarchy. You're kidding me, right?
Shit is crap!
I know, episode 9 of 13, and,
Nada. What about nothing? Yes.
So, is that it? Does he just want to kill world leaders for his new world? Then why didn't the full force of the Red Lotus kill all the other leaders when they had them grouped up in one place? They downed every one of them with ease and had them collectively at their mercy and everything. Their best opportunity they might ever get, and they ran from it. And why did they need Korra so bad? I'm so confused.
Sorry, buddy, some things just aren't to be made sense of. And the Korra thing, well, you're gonna have to wait until the very last episode to get those deets. The good book, everyone. The good at wasting
My fucking time!
Ah, fuck it. I'll just tell you Zaheer's real plan already. So basically, he's lying his ass off here. He doesn't really want a new world. He's working toward the exact opposite. He wants to go back.
We have to go back.
Back to the era before the Avatar, before the advent of Wan. In Zaheer's mind, the Avatar's existence is the anomaly that disrupts the balance of the world. Zaheer is the ultimate gigatrad. He wants to return.
We will return to the true balance of natural order.
The natural order, where the physical incarnations of good and evil were destroying valleys willy-nilly, and mankind was hunted by spirit invaders. You could call that freedom, I guess, in a sense of the word. I don't know about balanced, though. Spirits seem like they could use a bit of a nerf.
They threatened to destroy everything. The entire city.
But why stop there? For instance, it was Vaatu who created the portals to begin with.
It was I who broke through the divide that separated the plane of spirits from the material world.
So if we go back even further in the pre-Avatar days, no portals were once the norm, like in the original show.
The ocean and moon gave up their immortality to become a part of our world.
Really? Why?
So where exactly is the stopping point in this timeline reversal, Mr. Zaheer? Furthermore, before the Avatar, all the peoples of the world were separated on the lion turtles, with no way to intermix unless they wanted to get killed in the spirit wilds.
I need to be able to protect myself in the wilds.
Looks like Zaheer's freedom includes bringing back segregation on steroids.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Yet my man's got himself a Fire Nation GF. People call Kavira the fascist, but this dude's a skinhead stealing from Buddhism and has yellow fever, bro. Man, his representation stuff's going a little too far. Speaking of overly represented, remember those guys who hoarded the food and weapons? That's right, those damn dirty Chews. These phony anarchists are playing right into the Chews' grubby hands, resurrecting their lost empire. With Chews, you lose your pole arms.
Airbenders were nearly all wiped out thanks to the Fire Lord's desire for world dominance. True freedom can only be achieved when oppressive governments are torn down.
Then how about you don't permakill the only being who can keep tyrannical, bloodthirsty governments in line for perpetuity? You know, the very being who stopped that genocidal Fire Lord bent on world dominance? It's just a thought, bro. And hey, look, it's fine to have self-contradictory villains and all that. I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't. Most terrible people are huge hypocrites. Thing is, for Zaheer, this was like the only good point he has, and he's gonna happily toss it to the wind for nothing. Dude's so pointless, no wonder he's a fucking cue ball. Yet we've got the official Avatar The Last Airbender YouTube channel putting out videos like, was Zaheer right?
Was Zaheer actually right?
No official Avatar YouTube channel. I think the whole idea was that he's not remotely close to being right. Is it really not that obvious to people?
And you overwhelmingly chose Zaheer.
You're wrong.
To be fair, the video itself is mostly harmless. Brings up the occasional good point even.
Keep the spirit portals open, letting humans and spirits intermingle, including this guy?
Brings up some really bad ones as well.
While the Avatar has never truly gone rogue before, the chance always exists. And that is something worth fearing.
I like that they have footage of Korra nuking Republic City here. I wonder who edited this video. But nah, the Avatar ain't going rogue. What bubbles you people blowing? If you're an originalist like me, the Avatar is the human incarnation of the spirit of the planet. And guess what? The planet's not gonna try and rule itself with an iron fist. Yes, the Avatar is human, they have human desires, and some have forsaken their duties for those desires. They've made mistakes, some really big ones, but never with despotic or world-ending intentions. Why would they? They are what they are protecting. Or at least they were.
The good old days.
If you're into the new canon of Korra, honestly, there's even more reason for the Avatar to never go rogue. The human half of the Avatar is chosen specially by the quite literal manifestation of peace and light. Yeah, Rava made a couple sorry-ass picks, but I don't care how badly an Avatar can be brainwashed. How the fuck can you turn someone evil when they're half the embodiment of all goodness in the universe?
Good try, but no.
Man, how many Avatar iterations do you need not going rogue before you go, maybe this isn't something worth fearing? In fact, it's very much an unfounded fear, because it's never happened in 1,000 lifetimes. It took a literal dark Avatar, remember?
I will never forget.
Wait, I almost forgot. Now they're part Vaatu too. This changes everything.
Things will never be the same again.
Hold on, the wheels are turning. If Unalaq was a dark Avatar, does that mean he'll reincarnate like a regular Avatar? Has he already been reborn somewhere in the Earth Kingdom? Or did Harmonic Convergence technically have the dark Avatar state activated when he died? So Korra ended that cycle permanently, sending Vaatu back inside of Rava. Sure would have been nice of the writers to address any of this even marginally, but that would require, thinking it through, planning, decent writing skills. I digress. Back to this narco garbo.
Zaheer, please. As an airbender, you could help make a positive difference in the world instead of destroying it.
Who are you to talk, girl? You're the one that threw caution to the wind and created this threat by ignoring Wan's cautionary tale.
You kept the spirit portals open.
Even now, you're still endorsing Vaatu's handiwork, and not once has it crossed your mind that maybe what you've done will have a dramatic ripple effect, which will, by the way, end in a Gundam shooting vine lasers.
Communist target acquired.
Korra les-bombing Republic City, then abandoning her displaced victims a second time so she can vacation in the spirit world with her war profiteer GF. Live, laugh. Korra really is the worst Avatar ever.
I'm the worst Avatar ever.
What? It's true.
Motive. As far as we're shown, Zaheer is motivated by a extreme reading of the ancient guru Laghima's teachings about freedom and a new reality, or something. But why is an Earth Kingdom citizen so mesmerized by an ancient air nomad he was never indoctrinated to follow or care about to the extent he'll destroy the world for him? Shouldn't that merit at least some small explanation somewhere? A hint of a backstory, a brief flashback to Zaheer's past, or, any motivating factor? Nope. At no point are we given any personal motive as Zaheer's goal.
Nada.
Likewise, we're given nil backstory on why the Red Lotus wants total chaos, except for Pli very briefly, which is just that she wants to follow Zaheer. When these guys do interact, it's just like Korrasami, strictly plot advancement stuff.
Maybe they know something about where the Avatar is hiding.
She could be anywhere.
We'll find her.
Where's the Avatar? There's the Avatar. Get the Avatar. That's it. The Red Lotus is one of the most bland, nothing villain groups I've seen in a kid's cartoon. Ask any Korra fan to describe these guys without their bending or physical characteristics and watch them fucking squirm.
I don't know. I'm a political science student.
But Pli likes tonguing Zaheer. That has to count for something, right?
Just the idea of this dude, the obsessive monk fanboy, fraternizing with a
lady friend.
It doesn't sit right.
Empty and become wind. Empty and become wind.
Why don't you empty all that while we become one, big boy?
Oh, yeah.
Even in the Avatar universe, spiritual enlightenment entails some degree of celibacy. Aang had to go all of no nut brown waifu November without thinking of Katara to reach that level, and he just couldn't do it. Fortunate for him, no Avatar can.
The Avatar can never do it.
But Zaheer is against the Avatar and supposedly trying to achieve enlightenment.
Let go your earthly tether. Enter the void.
You can't let go your tether if you're gonna keep putting it in a void, my man.
Here it comes!
You catch my drift. His character is supposed to desire to lack desire, so the writers chose him, of all villains, to act on his desire for a hot woman?
What?
I mean, I can't personally blame the guy. I hear she gives great head. Although without them macking on each other, you might not suspect they were much of a couple at all. Pli treats Zaheer more stiffly than his stiffy.
The airbenders are secure.
Boo-boo bot!
And she can be as harsh to him as any disgruntled terrorist cell member would be.
Seems like you made quite a stir on Air Temple Island. The cops are swarming the city looking for us.
It's almost like they added the whole romance thing in later and forgot to, oh, would you look at that?
Do you guys remember when we decided to have Zaheer and Pli be a couple?
Mm-hmm. We're getting towards the end of the series. I think that was one that we went back and kind of started weaving it back in.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, imagine my shock, because it absolutely comes off that way, fellas. What they should have done is what they do for Korrasami. No explicit signs of a romantic relationship, just hints. Dude's been hanging out in a pitch black box for a decade and he still hasn't managed to detach himself. The reason? He can't help his love for Pli. He shouldn't really indulge in it physically necessarily with her, but there should be signs that she holds a special place in his heart. So it isn't until she dies that his heart empties and he finally achieves true enlightenment. Call that an incel.
What's it like to hold the hand of someone you love? Incel?
So let me rephrase. The Red Lotus is one of the most bland, nothing villain groups I've seen in a kid's cartoon, with one of the blandest romances I've seen in Korra. And that counts for something.
I've got your back, and I always will.
This really shouldn't be hard stuff, people. Like, Team Rocket ain't gonna go down as grand achievements in character writing, but at least you could tell James, Jesse, and Meowth's personalities apart. Kids' cartoons are usually pretty good at this. For example, Challenge Showdown, another cartoon I liked as a kid. They had a hefty assortment of villains, regularly being tagged in and out of the show, but they worked because they were all just goofy caricatures. That's all I needed as a kid. Even though every one of the villains wanted the same thing for the same reason,
World conquest?
you still couldn't confuse the hilarity of Jack Spicer with the intimidation of Chase Young. That's all Breck and the writers had to do. Give each Red Lotus member a crude personality quirk and a couple more lines.
Imagine if you lost your arrow, or if Katara lost her eggs.
Make Minghua the aggressive, impulsive one. Make Kazan the cautious, pragmatic one, butting heads with Ming. Make Pali the softer one, obviously more concerned with Zaheer than their cause. Then have these traits inform their actions in their scenes. But as the trio stands, well, regardless of height differences, they're just the same character. Iroh did more for characters as minors the Rough Rhinos, with just a couple lines.
Each one is a different kind of weapons specialist. They are also a very capable singing group.
Zaheer's the one standout among the Red Lotus, and dude still got less going on than Chase Young.
One time, you were on the side of good. Perhaps there is still some good inside of you.
No, don't think so.
You could help make a positive difference in the world instead of destroying it.
You are a very smart young woman, Korra.
No wonder the universe chose him to be an airbender, blowing all this hot air.
How do you keep a lid on hot air?
Ugh, if only we knew.
But you must realize that once change begins, it cannot be stopped, even by the Avatar.
Enough with your philosophical mumbo-jumbo.
Damn, I'm agreeing with Korra. That's how bad of a character Zaheer is.
Blah blah, spiritual mumbo-jumbo, blah blah.
This gibberish has been going on for like 5 minutes. Can you really imagine all the 10-year-olds on the edge of their seat over this epic meeting of the minds? The scene's only saving grace is that it's broken up by some bending action as Bolin and Mako try to stop the Red Lotus from kidnapping Korra. At least that stuff's kind of fun, but it's very overshadowed by the tedious spirit world chatting. Did really no one look over this script and sit Michael down and tell him, Mike, this is supposed to be a kid's show. No kid wants to sit through 5 minutes of the most baffling philosophy 101 lecture from a really bad community college course. Scrap this shit.
Get it right this time.
You know who did Zaheer better?
They'll make
They're bending.
great again!
Everyone's favorite humble omelet merchant from Metal Gear Revengeance. Zaheer does seem to jive with Senator Armstrong's might makes right philosophy, like he's giving the big stick back to the people.
I deliver Ba Sing Se back into the hands of the people.
Power and justice are back where they belong. In the hands of the people.
But somehow Zaheer's plan is even more bad.
Shit insane!
Also, Armstrong is built
Don't fuck with this, Senator!
up to over the length of several hours of gameplay and cutscenes. He's this obscured foreboding presence until you fight your way through all of his goons and gears and he's forced to reveal himself as the final boss. A lot like Fire Lord Ozai was kept as this evil, shadowy figure until Avatar's final season. We love our shadowy figures, don't we folks? Zaheer could have benefited greatly from something like this. What if Korra Book 3 had adopted a more Vidya-esque structure? Have Zaheer neutral jinging it up in prison, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, then once he receives airbending from cosmic magic, he sends the message to his compatriots through spirits in Spirit World, and the Red Lotus all escape their own prisons at the same time, throwing the world's governments into a panic. Throughout the book, Korra would have to fight all of the Red Lotus members one-on-one, like mini-bosses, before reaching the final boss, Zaheer, toward the end. As it is, they leave almost all the action between her and Zaheer at the end anyway, so why the hell not?
Planted the seed.
Plant seeds.
Demographics are important too. Destiny even, one might say.
Destiny is a cock.
Bigger men fuck my wife friend.
Worn out.
Is that okay?
Worn out.
That male vulnerability is beautiful, Destiny. Yeah. We need to encourage men to undo their toxic masculinity.
No, I'm good. If I can hate women so much.
Armstrong plays to exactly the right demographic. Memes. Metal Gear fans who are used to goofy over-the-top antagonists.
War is peace. Order is disorder.
Zaheer? I have no idea what demo they were shooting for with him. He's certainly not for kids. He's still too wordy for teens. And as an adult,
man-child,
I'm scratching my head over why you'd write an anarchist extremist all about freedom, but who also wants the spirit of all goodness in the universe to do exactly as he says and never take a human host, but is also a Buddhist unconcerned with materialism, but is also a Saturday morning cartoon villain with a hard-on for transforming the material realm into a world of never-ending chaos.
What? That's ridiculous.
Whatever.
The natural order is disorder.
This is the best line the best Avatar antagonist has to contribute to the canon, huh? Sounds like my dude's never heard of the golden ratio before, or seen a snowflake. ER, let's be real. No one but total nerds care about Zaheer's logic. They just want to watch him bully Korra. Don't we all? That's a good point, nerd. You help keep me centered. Who's a good nerd? That's right, it's you. You're a good nerd. Threat level. Got a handicap off to this crazed guru wannabe. He buck-bends Korra so hard that by the end, her legs don't work no more.
They say any landing you can walk away from is a good landing.
And all the brain damage, poor girl. I mean, she's had that since episode 1, but okay, I won't kick a girl while she's down. It's just, you know, the way Zaheer accomplishes all this is
ridiculous.
To add insult to inarchy, the Red Lotus aggressively sabotaged their own ridiculous plan that shouldn't even work to begin with. But I can't overload your brains with that level of sheer idiocy right now. Not in good conscience. Let's just say, yes, Zaheer is a threat, because his power level is off the damn charts. Normally, this is fine. That's just the standard for supervillains. We should want to see the hero overcome impossible odds. But Zaheer, the universe warps around him to give him a power loss for nearly 2 centuries just because the writers wanted it. He's immediately amazing at using said power despite never training with it just because the writers wanted it.
But there were limitations. You know, they had to be trained and they had to work and earn these skills. They weren't just like, I'm granted with these powers and I can do things.
But when I awoke with airbending...
Yeah, no kidding.
And he resolves nearly every one of his problems with it because, well, you get the idea. He bends bending over harder than Rey forced herself on the Force.
And I need something inside me.
Can you feel that?
I feel something.
And can't forget Zaheer's Superman flying. Faster than a reeking bullshit. I so do despise the flying for so many reasons, but I'll spurg out about it when I get to that episode in approximately the next couple years. I did really like one thing about Zaheer, that he was very spiritually inclined, could travel between the worlds the proper way, and uses this to his advantage a few times. But there's just so much more the writers could have done with this that goes fully unrealized. Not once are we shown Zaheer even interacting with a spirit, in spite of his ambitious goal of knocking the borders down between them and humans. He could have made some truly fearsome allies in the spirit world. He had years and years of nothing he could have done but intermingle with spirits, yet we never get to see anything like that. Come on, the dude's Mr. Stoicism, and they don't use him for one scene with Ko the Face Stealer? It's such a waste. Zaheer could have simply used a radio instead for practically all of his spirit world exploits, and nothing significant about the plot would change.
Attention, citizens of Ba Sing Se. I have an important announcement to make. Being locked away for so many years, I came out and openly served up my loose end.
For now, to give Zaheer a tentative grade with his contradictory, confusing, and still ambiguous goals, his even more confusing, ambiguous motive, and his unearned lazy threat level, I'm putting him in D tier. That's right, folks, the best Korra villain is literary D.
Baloney!
Now, I know that sounds
great,
but don't forget, it's still a lot higher than the people of Republic City rate Korra.
8% approval?
Oh, and the Red Lotus, straight to F. F for fatuous. What's most disappointing is that there really was the skeleton of a good villain Zaheer, with a unique performance, decent character design, and some interesting ideas buried deep inside him somewhere. You've got a spiritually attuned man who is essentially forsaken his humanity and everyone else. Juxtaposed to that, you have a spiritually deficient Avatar who's trying to balance these two forces by smashing them together and obviously failing.
I'm a spiritual failure too.
In a way, he's like a strange amalgamation of Amon and Unalaq. Amon professed to hate hierarchy, leading to supposed depressive outcomes, just in the form of benders versus non-benders. If Zaheer's serious about taking the world back to before the Avatar, to the natural order of things, well, people didn't have innate bending back then either. Does he have a plan to deal with that?
I will finish what you started.
Nah.
And like Unalaq, Zaheer is so pro-spirit, he's become very much anti-human.
But you're still a man.
I've dealt with a lot of narrow-minded people. I just didn't realize you were one of them.
There was an opportunity here to acknowledge what came before, to actually delve into equalism, the consequences of industrialism versus spiritualism, and their effects on the Avatar and their place in this changing world.
It's the Avatar's job to protect nature, but I don't know how to do my job.
They could have made something maybe okay-ish. It bent new ground. That's asking way too much. You know how they really invented Zaheer. Yo, man, what if we had, like, another airbender, but, like, he's evil, bro. Dude. Yeah, and, like, he murders people because he's, like, so evil, man. Dude. I know it's California, fellas, but maybe stop touching grass. Now, you might still be unconvinced. You might be thinking I'm picking at nits, being melodramatic, whatever. That's fine. You're free to like what you like, free to think I'm wrong. We're all just so free, you know? But this video's primarily been about what Zaheer's about. The really shaky foundation of his character. What he actually does in the story, well, that's another story. A really, really fucking stupid story. One I'll have to regale you with and next time. Maybe. Bye! But don't forget, that's still a lot higher than the people of Republic City rate Coral. Coral. Who the fuck is Coral?